And now, Mike's thoughts.
The NFL has officially reinstated 5 players that were suspended for gambling from last season. Demetrius Taylor, Quatez Sykeps, CJ Moore, Rashad Berry, and Shea Katouni have all been reinstated from their, quote, lifetime bans from the NFL. They have, quote, learned their lessons. Also last season, Jameson Williams, and Stanley Berryhill were both suspended for 6 games for the NFL gambling protocol or policy, whatever you want to call it. In the end, basically the NFL said, you guys can come on back. You guys can come on back and we can have a grand old time, and bada bing, bada boom, we are gravy, baby. But at the end of the day, the NFL will never fix this issue. At the end of the day, the NFL will truly never really fix this issue, because the simple fact of the matter is that gambling is all around us. Gambling is all around us, and it cannot and will not be stopped. You can put up all the bans you want. You can do this, you can do that. But at the end of the day, the players are going to gamble. Shohei Tony, or the pitcher for the Dodgers, right? He got caught gambling. Millions upon billions dollars of debt. And it was fraud. It was fraud. Basically, NFL players are going to get smarter. They're going to get VPNs on their phone. They're going to have the ring man or the fall guy. They are going to have the guy to basically do it for them. When I was a young upcoming athlete, my uncle told me, and I remember this to this day. He says, always have a fall guy. If you're going to make millions upon millions of dollars and you want to do bad things, have a fall guy. Pay that guy $10,000 a month, $15,000 a month. Be your right-hand man, but be the fall guy. Hey, man, if shit goes down, boom, you're it. That is what's going to happen with this gambling issue in the NFL. Let's just be honest. That is what's going to happen, because at the end of the day, if a person wants to gamble, a person wants to gamble. Cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn NFL show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
Yeah, hey, let's go. Hitting that gridiron, we going hard, we running the plays. You know the vibe, only the strong survive. Gotta keep your head in the game. Talking NFL, uncut, straight raw, steady bringing that sauce. We about to take off, get it hype. This Man Hour Sport Talk. Yeah, from the quarterback to the lineman, everybody bringing heat. You don't really wanna try them. Hey, who gon' win? It's a battle of the giants. This show is the flyest. Nobody can deny it. This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? Let's go.
Let's go. What is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckhouse here with the Man Hour, short of manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page. Check out the blog section. Of course, check out the forum section as well. And this is powered by NFLtoday.co. That's NFLtoday.co. Head over there. You got the stats. You got the scores. You got everything that you need. If you want some NFL news, some NFL insights, head over to NFLtoday.co. We are rivaling our competitors out there, and we have the best website out there. We have the best damn NFL show out there. We have the best damn host and co-host, and a lot of up-and-coming changes here on the Man Hour. So sit back and buckle up for a grand old ride. This is a live, interactive show. Comments are encouraged. Talk your shit in the comments below, but be ready to defend yourself, because, like I said, this is a live, interactive show. I'll pop up your chat just like my man right here, John Peoples. Says, what's up, y'all? And we will interact and we'll have a grand old conversation. Good morning, John. Also, become a Pigskin Pundit. Like my man John here. John is the VP of the Big Pigskin Pundits. And You get some after hours footage, you get some behind the scenes footage, and next week after we're off for 6 weeks to retool, reamp some shows, you get some behind the scenes footage of what's going on. You get to see some interactions of our potential co-hosts, I should say. We'll see if they iron out. You guys will have yeah, we love that guy. No, get that guy out of here. Bada bing, bada boom. It's all because of the Big Skin Pundits. So click on the link below, guys. Subscribe and become a Big Skin Pundit. And John says, what about Pete Rose? Pete Rose just got the short end of the stick back in, the 70s or 80s or whatever it was. Unfortunately, baseball is like, But now that Pete Rose is gone and, Shohei Ohtani is the beautiful front man of the Major League Baseball, they're like, oh, we can't get this guy kicked out. My man, Matthew Maddox, is it Maddox? Is in the chat. Good morning to you, Matthew. And he says, can we talk about how the Titans are going to be dark horses in the Super Bowl this year? We can definitely talk about your Tennessee Titans. I'm assuming you're a Tennessee Titans fan. We can definitely go off the cup and we can talk about the Tennessee Titans because we have been kind of talking a lot about the AFC South in the last few shows here. The last few weeks, we've been like, hey, you know what? Texans are coming up. Jaguars, what the hell is going on with them? We don't know. We don't know what to do with their hands, right? And then you have the Tennessee Titans that we thought we were throwing away the season, cutting Ryan Tannehill, trading away Derrick Henry, and they quickly got better. When we look at the Tennessee Titans right now, guys, they have probably... Is it the best receiver core in the AFC South? Is it the best receiver core in the South? I mean, we can look at the Texans, and they have potential, right? They have potential. Can John Metchie III for the Houston Texans step up and be that guy that I think he's capable of being? Is Tank Dell going to come back and be the Tank Dell that was the previous 9 weeks of the season before did he break his leg? I think he broke his leg, right? Is a 31-year-old Stephon Diggs going to live up to that $25 million deal that he got? Yes, $25 million. Actually, it's more than that, wasn't it? They basically combined his final 3 years of his contract, put it all into one and said, prove it to us, man. Of course, you got Nico Collins and Robert Woods still potentially going to be a nice little duo in the backfield, but the dark horse for the Texans are Dalton Schultz of that receiver core. But the Titans, I love the addition of Calvin Ridley. Because I think Calvin Ridley is poised to really kind of explode in the NFL. We saw it a little bit last year. We saw a little bit of sprinkles of what Calvin Ridley could potentially be. And then you still got Treylon Burks, right? Burks. I think he is going to be one of the most unsung heroes of the Texans this season. And so we still got D-Hop. D-Hop is what? Is he pushing like 33, 34 years old? I think, no, he's not that old. D-Hop's probably, 31? So he still has that prime age, right? He can still do some work. But when you look at the Tennessee Titans, I think right now they have the best receiver core in the AFC South. Hell, they might have the best receiver core in the NFL right now. Probably 1A, 1B with the Miami Dolphins right now. The biggest issue with the Tennessee Titans right now this year that I could see potentially not making the Super Bowl is the Will Levis situation. Yes, I know Will Levis is going to be the starting quarterback. Mason Rudolph should be the backup. Malik Willis should probably be cut, let's just be honest. But if Will Levis truly gets all the eggs in his basket saying, Will Levis, you are our guy, I think Will Levis will surprise a lot of Tennessee Titans fans, and he do pretty damn good. As a Kentucky Wildcat fan, I saw Will Levis play a lot, and I love what he brings. But to say that the Tennessee Titans are a dark horse of the Super Bowl, that is tough. That is tough because the AFC is so freaking loaded. We saw it in the AFC North last season. Obviously, the Ravens were hands down the best team in the NFL. But when you battle week after week after week versus the Browns, versus the Bengals, versus the Steelers, right? And you have that hardcore schedule week after week after week, it starts to wear down on you. Now, I'm not saying that the Tennessee Titans and the AFC South are comparable to the NFC North, but it is going to be comparable of no off weeks, right? When you go to Jacksonville, play the Jaguars, you play the Colts, you play the Texans, right? It's a division opponent, and everybody got better. But to say that they are a dark horse, I'm going to have to call BS. Make the playoffs first, right? Have a winning season. Let old, what's the coach's name? Brian Callahan. Let him get his feet wet. He's still wet behind the ears. Let Will Levis lead a full season. Let his dryness behind his ears dry out too, right? The Tennessee Titans are a playoff team. I think they could potentially and should win the AFC South. But I don't see them much going beyond that point. I don't see them going much beyond that point because the AFC is so freaking loaded. You can be a number 2 overall seed in the playoffs, and that 7 seed, let's say it's the Miami Dolphins again, right? They can come up and bite you in the ass. 6 seed. Anybody in the AFC make the playoffs can make a Super Bowl run. I will give you that. But the Tennessee Titans, to say they're the dark horse, I got to call BS, Matthew. I'm not trying to rain on your parade. I love what the Titans have done. I love me some Will Levis. I love the coaching changes. I am glad that finally the Tennessee Titans organization, general manager in general, said, you know what? We are tired of being mediocre. 6-11, 8-9, 9-8 is just not cutting it anymore. I'm glad Mike Vrabel's gone. I'm glad Derrick Henry's gone. I'm actually kind of glad you guys got rid of A.J. Brown a couple years ago. I thought maybe that was a turning of a new leaf. But they're like, slow it down, baby. But I do like the Titans. I just want to put emphasis on on April 19th, 2024 at 10:12 a.m. on the East Coast time here. I love me some Tennessee Titans. I do think they're going to win the AFC South. Now, obviously, we will be visiting this again in June and July when we break down the mini camps and the OTAs and see how they progress, see how the Brian Callahan system is mixing in with Will Levis and Calvin Ridley and Tony Pollard, see how they're really going to mesh together. Then we'll pick them, but we'll see. We'll see. Matthew, also says, new to the show, but I love the energy here. Listen, man, balls to the wall all the time. I'm glad you enjoy it. Be sure to hit that like button too, man. And we are live every Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. East Coast time until April 26th. And unfortunately, we're taking a couple weeks off. Be back on the afternoon, June 18th at 2:30 p.m. East Coast time. Gardner Minshew MVP, says John. The same Gardner Minshew that went to the Las Vegas Raiders. John is a Las Vegas Raiders fan. And I love to dog my man, John and Jim and all you Raiders Nation people out there, because I am a Kansas City Chiefs fan. Where's the Chiefs flag? Right there's a Chiefs flag. Flying high, baby. You got the Patrick Mahomes, the GOAT right there. Right there. I'm not... It's one to point over Tom Brady, but right there is Patrick Mahomes, the GOAT. But the Las Vegas Raiders, Gardner Minshew, what are the Raiders going to do in the draft? That is the biggest question that I have in my head. Because the Raiders are sitting, what is it, 12th or 13th in the draft? They're sitting 13th in the draft, right? Antonio Pierce, this is his first season as the head coach, right? As a full off season in general. Currently, Adrian O'Connell is listed as a starter for the Las Vegas Raiders. I believe he's actually the last person to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. They picked up Gardner Minshew this offseason to kind of fill that bridge gap. The one thing about Gardner Minshew, and I've been kind of a Gardner Minshew hater for a very, very long time. I don't know if it was because of the other people that I was associated with, would put him up on this pedestal saying, oh, he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I love him. I love him. I love him, with the shorty shorts and like in the full Manchu chin straps there. And I did not like Gardner Minshew, but Minshew is a good place gap quarterback. What do I mean by place gap quarterback? A place gap quarterback is a quarterback that you can pull off the street and you can insert him into pretty much any offense and he is going to grasp it, right? He seems like a very smart, intelligent individual. He seems like a very charismatic individual. People gravitate to him, want him to succeed, and they play harder for him. But there's a reason why Gardner Minshew has been on what? 4 teams in the last 5 seasons, right? He's been with the Jaguars. He's been with the Eagles, been with the Colts, and now he's been with the Raiders. Has he been with anybody else? I can't remember for sure. But there's a reason why he's jumping from team to team to team, because he's a good bridge gap quarterback. He's a quarterback that will get you through a year, be average. Look at the Colts last season, 9-8. Yes, they were battling for a playoff position. Yes, the last play of the year was a drop, and if they would have got that first down, they would have won the game. Houston Texans wouldn't we even be talking about the Houston Texans right now? We'd be talking about Gardner Minshew like in the Colts. But the point is that Gardner Minshew will never be that guy. Gardner Minshew reminds me of Ryan Fitzpatrick, Jacoby Brissett. He is good for about 4 games a year, then bada bing, bada boom, you're like, oh, he's still playing? He's still playing it in the NFL? What? So, John, I understand you want to be excited about your Raiders. I understand Adrian O'Connell's little porn stash, mustache man himself probably isn't the guy. But the simple fact of the matter is if Gardner Minshew wins the MVP, or is even in consideration with the MVP, that means the Raiders are going to finish 14-3. That means Lamar Jackson has gone down with the season-ending injury. That means Dak Prescott went down. That means Tua went down. Mahomes went down. Jalen Hurts went down. Aaron Rodgers went down. Jordan Love goes down. Dak Prescott goes down. Hell, we can throw in Brock Purdy, Geno Smith, Kyler Murray. Basically, every starting quarterback in the NFL goes down. Then we might get to Gardner Minshew as MVP talk. I hate to say it, man, but it is what it is. Gardner Minshew, like MVP. Slow it down, baby. Slow it down, baby. Matthew says, top 3 in the league right now based off experience and expectations, right? Top 3 as in the Titans receiver core I'm referring to. I'm guessing, Matthew, that is what you're referring to, I should say. Yeah, I mean, based off of expectations, right? Expectations alone by the names they have, Calvin Ridley, Treylon Burks, D-Hop, they should be a very, very good receiving core. Then you add in the depth of running back, what you added, Tony Pollard this offseason. Who is the other Titans starting running back? He's a second-year guy. What's his name? Let me look it up. I'm kind of curious of what his name was. Tajah Spears, right? The offense for the Tennessee Titans should be top 10, top 5 easily based off of paper. Now, I don't know much about the offensive line. I'll have to do some research on the offensive line to see how good they are, see how they're ranked sack-wise, picking up blitzes and like all that stuff. We do a lot of that on the Pigskin Pundits here on the After Hours footage. I break down film, and maybe Monday or Tuesday we'll break down some Tennessee Titans offensive line footage. I'll bring in my man Chris, and we can talk in some Titans. But the Titans should be top 10 offense, receiver core easily top 5. I'd probably give them number 2, to be honest. Honestly, I love me some Tennessee Titans right now. I'm 2 hours away from Nashville. No, take that back. 3 hours away from Nashville. I'm probably going to go to 2, 3, 4, 5 Titan games this season. I think with this talk, we have to say who has the best QB as well as fits the wideouts. So I don't know how much you guys have watched Will Levis in college. I got an opportunity to watch Will Levis at least, 9 games? Saw him in person versus Louisville a couple times. And Will Levis is a person much like Gardner Minshew. People like him. For whatever reason, people gravitate towards Will Levis. Now he is single now. He broke up with his TikTok dancing star girlfriend. Now, Will Levis is all focused about football. No more getting the punani from the filter face queen over there. He has to put up or shut up, right? If Will Levis wants to get him some ladies, he's better be throwing the ball to Calvin Ridley a hell of a lot of times. But I think Will Levis's big, strong arm, he can push the ball down the field very, very. I believe it was at the combine. He threw like 80 miles an hour, something crazy, right? He can push the ball down the field. Let Calvin Ridley run. Let D-Hop run. Let Treylon Brooks run underneath. I do like C.J. Stroud. I think C.J. Stroud's probably another up-and-coming great quarterback in the NFL. Top 5 easily, right? But Will Levis is, when we give our pre-rankings quarterback rankings moving forward, I bet you Will Levis is probably a top 15, pushing top 10 quarterback. I love me some Will Levis. Casey Morgan's in the chat. What's up, Casey? Good morning. He says, Case Chiefs proved last year doesn't matter if you have 1 or 2 number 1 receivers. They took out most of the top teams in the playoffs with the team with nothing but 3 and number 2 receivers. So here's the difference between the Chiefs and the rest of the NFL. Yes, the Kansas City Chiefs did win the Super Bowl without, quote, a number 1 receiver. But the Kansas City Chiefs had the best defense I have seen in a very, very long time. Yes, they were better than the Ravens defense last season. Hell, they may have rivaled the 2000 Ravens defense. The Kansas City Chiefs had a great defense last season. Also helps when you have the best quarterback in the league in Patrick Mahomes right there. Yes, I know the light's kind of glaring on his face, but he is the best quarterback in the NFL right now. Even if Tom Brady was to come back and play for what he said, the Patriots, the Raiders, and was it 49 or something like that, he'd still be better than Tom Brady. The Chiefs are kind of an outlier, right? Every team needs that go-to guy. That is why the Kansas City Chiefs, honestly, Casey struggled the middle part of the season, was because they didn't have that number 1 guy. They didn't have that go-to receiver. Right? When it's nut crunch time, when it's 3rd and 10, who are you going to? Who are you going to eyeball? Now, I'm going to argue and say that's what makes him dangerous too, right? You don't know who they're going to, so you don't know who to double team. You double team a tight end. Like, that's stupid. But at the same time, you still need that big body receiver. You need a Calvin Ridley or a D-Hop or, hell, even an Odell Beckham Jr. I'm not a huge Odell Beckham Jr. fan by any stretch of the imagination, but you still need that name notoriety on your team saying, he is our guy. Rashid Rice for the Kansas City Chiefs was making his same saying, he's our guy. Now he might be on the longest yard team, the mean machine, but at the same time, he's still going to be our guy, right? James is actually working in Nashville, if I'm not mistaken. No, that was Casey, wasn't it? I can't remember. Sorry, guys. But James Chamberlain's in the chat. Good morning, James. He says, Titans have the player talent to be really, really good. Got to see how that coaching staff works out. You are 100% correct. I am curious to see how the Brian Callahan effect takes it into Nashville, because when you look at the Tennessee Titans, right, over the last at least 6 years, right, it's been give the ball to Derrick Henry and run it down your throat and we'll wear you out. Now I think they're going to be a let's put up 45 points team. Let's see if a team can run with us. Like, the culture shift in Tennessee is going to take some time. I hope the fan base is okay with the struggling first quarter of the season, first 4 or 5 weeks of the season, because it's going to be rough. But once it clicks in Tennessee and Nashville, I think it's going to click. Much like the Packers last season, right? They started out rough. First 4 or 5 games of the season. Yes, Jordan Love did have a good game versus the Bears, but then he's kind of like tailored off. But then, by week 9, to the moon, baby. To the moon. So, we'll see. Casey says, bigger question is Raiders or the Broncos coming in last in the division this season? It's funny that you say that because the Broncos general manager, what is his name? Oh, shoot. Can't even think of his name right now. I actually posted it on our Facebook page. He says, we have to nail this draft. We have to nail the first round draft. Well, no shit, Sherlock. No shit, you have to nail this draft. You guys literally have cut your whole freaking team and you're in a dumpster fire for the next 10 years because you have, $90 million of dead cap hit for a player that's not even on your team anymore. Yes, you have to nail this draft 100%. But I was listening to the NFL experts last Tuesday. They had a Broncos insider in there by the name of Cecil. Cecil was like, the Broncos were a really, really bad team last season. There should have been no way that we were even in consideration for anything besides a number 1 overall pick. And they got 8 wins last season. That was despite Russell Wilson's all that controversy and all this other BS, yada, yada, yada. But when I actually sat down and watched Denver Broncos tape, didn't watch the game, I watched the tape. I broke it down, rewind it, watched it forward, rewound it, watched it forward. The offensive line is actually pretty good. The offensive line, if a quarterback stays in the pocket, Russell Wilson doesn't get sacked like 15, 16 times. I guess that's what happens when you're 5'9". You can't see over a bunch of 6'5" guys. But the Broncos, if they get a quarterback, which right now I don't know if Jarrett Stidham is the guy or Ben DiNucci is the guy, but if they can get a quarterback and Cortland Sutton and Marvin Mims Jr. can really step up and be the receivers that I think they can be, I think the Broncos will be okay. To be honest, it would not surprise me one bit if the Raiders came in second, Broncos came in third, and then the Chargers came in fourth. I do not like the Chargers at all this season. They have been, on paper, one of the best teams in the AFC for many, many, many years. Many, many years they finished 5 wins, 6 wins. Yes, they made the playoffs, 2 years ago. Epic collapse, 28-point loss, or 28 points given up to the Jacksonville Jaguars. They still have an okay young receiver core, but I don't trust Justin Herbert. I do not trust Justin Herbert one little bit. So the bigger question is it going to be the Chargers or the Broncos coming in last place? And I think it's going to be the Chargers, to be honest. Just to be honest. John People says, Dax. Dallas can't give away Dak. Why would you want to give away Dak? Legitimately, why would you want to give up Dak Prescott? Dak Prescott's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, John. We know this. We've talked about this over and over and over again. Dak Prescott is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. They do not want to give Dak away. They don't. Ghosted just saying hi. What's up, Ghosted? Glad you're joining us, man. Hope you're having, or a female. I don't want to gender stereotype you by your name, but most men ghost ladies. I'm just saying. John People says, how is the old line to give Levis time to throw then? I don't know. We will have to break down the Tennessee Titans' old line. That is what we'll need to do. We'll need to break down the Tennessee Titans' old line to see how good or how bad they are. I personally have not really watched. I mean, I've seen Titans games, but when you when you watch games, you aren't watching the offensive line. You're not watching the linebackers. You aren't watching the deep safety on the right-hand side, right? You watch the snap of the ball, you watch the quarterback, and then you watch the ball, right? When we break down film, we're like, hey, we're looking at the offensive line. We're watching the number 3 receiver. We're watching number 2 corner. We're watching the slot safety. Let's break down the Titans offensive line on the after show. For all you pigskin pundits, we'll do it Monday. I'll find some tape. We'll watch it, and we'll watch the offensive line for the Tennessee Titans from last season. A game where Will Levis was there and had a decent game. What did he do? How did the line look? We will watch that. We'll watch that. They did not rival the 2000 Ravens. Slow your roll, baby. Listen, I am a huge fan of the 2000. Was it 2001 Ravens or 2000 Ravens when they won the Super Bowl? I love me some Ed Reed. I love me some Ray Lewis. I love that whole defense. But the Chiefs were the real deal, baby. Last season, the Chiefs defense rivaled anybody. You know why that defense rivaled anybody? 85 Bears, 2000 Ravens, whatever you want to put on last year's Ravens. It's because they had an offense to go with it. The best defense is a good offense, right? Because when you're up 21-0, you can have Chris Jones pin back those big-ass ears of his and go get the damn quarterback. That is what is so great about the Kansas City Chiefs right now. Defense is good. I'm worried about the loss of Snead. Titans fans, we've been talking about the Titans a lot. Worried about loss of Snead. We'll see how they do that, fix that in the draft. But the Kansas City Chiefs were a really, really good defense last year. Really good defense, John. Slow it down. James says, yeah, that's me in Nashville. I'll be at a few Titans games this year. James, let's link up, man. I plan on going to at least 2 or 3 Titans games this season. Me and the boys will be down. When I say boys, I mean like my boys, not like my boys, but my boys. They love them some football. Let's link up, man. Let's get some brewskis. Let's have a good old time. Cap and Cap says WSP. What the fuck does WSP mean? Somebody help me out. Somebody with the lingo of a teenager, let me know. What does WSP mean? What's up, playa? I don't know. And then this is the comment of the day here. This is the comment of the day because we know we cannot take anybody serious when a person says Raiders are running the AFC West. We cannot look at this comment and legitimately say this person knows what they're talking about. John, I love you like a brother and fuck you like a sister. But at the end of the day, if you say the Raiders are running the West, what has happened? I'm not saying the Raiders are going to be terrible this season. I think they're going to be a mediocre team again. 8-9, 9-8, possibly have a winning season. I'm not saying they're going to be bad. We'll see how the draft goes. We'll see how the offseason training goes. But as of right now, on paper, they are, right now, on paper, the Raiders guys are probably a 5-win team. If Adrian O'Connell is your starting quarterback moving forward for the Las Vegas Raiders, about said Oakland Raiders, my bad. Las Vegas Raiders. If Adrian O'Connell is your starting quarterback, Zamir White, is that how you say his name? Z-A-M-I-R, White, is your starting running back, and Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers are your wide receivers, that's a 5-win team. Now, people will say, oh, it's Devontae Adams. What has Devontae Adams done for you in the last 2 seasons? The last 2 seasons as a Las Vegas Raider, what has Devontae Adams done for you? Now, I understand last season he did have 1,100 yards. Found the end zone 8 times. Cool. How many wins did that equate to? His first year in Vegas, he did have 1,500 yards, 14 touchdowns. Cool. what is that equated to? You guys spent a lot of money, a lot of energy on Davante Adams. He's putting up numbers. I give it to you. He's putting up numbers, but he hasn't transformed that offense, transformed that team. He has not been the guy that you thought he was going to be because you guys haven't had a quarterback. Yes, I love me some Derek Carr. I did like Derek Carr. I love the move to Saints even more as long as he can pick it up. But if you have Adrian O'Connell as your quarterback and Davante Adams as your only receiver besides Jacoby Myers, you guys are fucked. Fucked. Right? James says, highly upset the Titans are actually going to play my Dolphins, but the damn game is going to be in Miami. Yeah, ain't that some shit? Speaking of that, do you guys remember last year when me and my man Arthur Brown's a huge Miami Dolphins fan, just like you, James. Obviously, I'm a Kansas City Chiefs guy. And when the schedule was released, we're like, Miami versus KC at Arrowhead. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Because it was supposed to be a home game for the Chiefs. They ended up playing in Germany, right? And it was Mike's thoughts on Wednesday last week. People were upset that I'm being selfish and self-centered, that I don't want overseas games. James is upset that the Miami Dolphins are playing at home versus the Titans. Spoiler alert, that game's probably going to be in London anyways. Oh, not the Lions or the Raiders. Come on, man. I don't know what you're talking about. John says, do you still have your Hutchinson jersey? It's hanging up in the closet. Casey Morgan, what's up, Casey? Says, I wanted a Snead jersey, but I guess I have to wait to get his as a Titans jersey. Listen. That was weird. I think the trash man just drove by. I love me some Snead. But I have the luck of not the Irish. I have the worst luck at all. Worst luck ever, right? Every time I go and say, I want this person's jersey, person gets traded or retired or sucks the next year. And I'm going to put it out there. I got an Eric Berry jersey, 7 years ago? The next year, he got cancer. Yes, he came back and beat cancer, but was never quite the same. Then I got a Tyreek Hill jersey, traded to the Miami Dolphins. Oh, shit. I had me an Alex Smith jersey. Got cut. This offseason, I got me a Chris Jones jersey. Now, Chris Jones did sign a big deal. Big deal with the Kansas City Chiefs. Did sign that dollar bill contract. But if my jersey collection for the Chiefs continues to be bad, and if Chris Jones has a bad first 3 or 4 games, I'm going to have to burn that jersey. Not because I don't like him. Not because I'm done with the Chiefs. I don't want any bad juju over here whatsoever. Don't want any. I don't want it. Get it out of here. Let me get a Caleb Williams jersey for the Chicago. James says, Davante Adams is the biggest waste of player talent in the NFL in Las Vegas. I agree. Wasn't it rumored that Davante Adams was going to go to the Jets too? They're like, hey, maybe Davante Adams reunites with Aaron Rodgers and some magic happens. Casey Morgan says, do us a favor. Do not get him a Holmes jersey until he retires. Yeah, facts. I will no longer be buying a Chiefs jersey. Actually, I do have the black Bolton jersey from a couple years ago. The black jerseys with the red lettering with the yellow outline. I wish the Chiefs would wear that during home games. I love me some of those Chiefs jerseys. But guys, let's talk about the draft. The draft is officially 6 days away. Next Thursday is the first round. Friday's the second round. Saturdays is 3 through 7. Let's talk about the draft. The Washington Commanders are currently sitting at number 2. They're sitting at number 2, and they have had a slew of players come in for their pre-draft visits, playbooks, etc. The Washington Commanders GM is confident that they'll stay at number 2 in this year's draft. Also, I've heard their general manager, Adam Peters, say that they are going to build a team, as in receiver, running back, line, defense, and then worry about quarterback very last. Because that's what they did in San Francisco, and it worked. Look at the Brock Purdy effect, right? They built a team, and they plugged and played a quarterback. Adam Peters think that's what he can do in Washington. But he's also saying that he's confident, saying that they're sitting at number 2. But then on the other cheek, is like, well, we're open for trades as well. When we look at the Washington Commanders, guys, they are a shit show of an organization. They got new owners, new head coach, new general manager, new everything. They've had everybody and their dog under the sun come into a pre-draft visit. I'm talking J.J. McCarty, Jalen Daniels, Bo Nix, Drake May. They've had like 5 or 6 quarterbacks come in and visit all at the same time. So let me guys ask you this question. If you are a Washington Commanders fan, I'm talking about fan. I'm not talking about coach. I'm not talking about general manager. I'm talking about owner. I'm talking about fan. Talking about a fan. When you hear that the Commanders are saying that we can build a team like the 49ers and plug and play any quarterback, but then you have 5 quarterbacks in visit. Then you say that we're picking at number 2. We're pretty confident that we're staying there, but we might move down as well. Clearly, there's 4 directions that like you could go. We can build a team and place a quarterback in the 5th, 6th round and call the day, or stick with Marcus Mariota. We can draft a quarterback. We can do this, or we can do this. If I'm a Commanders fan right now, I am pissed off. I am pissed off because obviously right now, clear-cut, Caleb Williams is going to the Chicago Bears. Everything points that way. Everything seems to be going that way. 100%. But when you sitting at number 2, we need a clear-cut direction which way we're going to do. Are we going to get a quarterback? Are we going to trade down to number 6 and get Marvin Harrison Jr., get Azua, or what are we going to do? I want a clear-cut direction. If it's a quarterback, okay, be it. Don't have 5 different quarterbacks in our room. Like, you know what? We like Jaden Daniels. Let's go get us some Jaden Daniels. Be all in on somebody. Now, I know the devil advocate's saying, Amy, but you got to make sure people fit your system. Make sure people do this, do that, whatever. You don't have a fucking system right now, Washington. You don't have a system. The simple fact of the matter is you guys are the worst team in the NFL. You are the worst organization in the NFL. You don't know which way's up right now. You could be sniffing a cow's ass and be like, oh, it's Rosie in here. What? Washington Commanders fans need to be pissed off right now. They need to be outraged. The general manager, coaching staff, and Dan Quinn and whoever he has, Lane Kiffin and those boys, figure yourselves out. What are you going to do? Yes, I understand right now we are a week before the draft. Yes, I understand right now you are not worried about what other teams are doing or what people are thinking or the outside influencers or the mock drafts are saying. We're not worried about that, right? You should be worried about if I'm going to have a job next year. You should be worried about, can we really build a team like the San Francisco 49ers? Are we a receiver away from being a plug-and-play team? Are we a defensive end away? No. It took years for the 49ers to be where they're at. It took a lot of hard work, a lot of miserable years, and I don't think Washington and the ownership and like the Magic Johnson group and Dan Quinn, I don't think they're in it for the long haul, to be honest. I think they're looking for a 3-year turnaround fix, tops. I think the Washington Commanders need to draft Jaden Daniels and then build a team around Jaden Daniels. Don't worry about building a team for a plug-and-play quarterback. Get a great young man in Jaden Daniels, build around that guy, and potentially be a front runner in the East. Potentially. Just a couple years ago, we were talking about my man Torrey Anderson. You guys remember Torrey? A couple years ago. Who was their quarterback week 1 and he went down and then Taylor Heineke came in? Was it Carson Wentz? Can't remember. Torrey had them going 13-4. Granted, Taylor Heineke came in and they were still a playoff team. I actually think that's the year that Taylor Heineke went toe to toe with Tom Brady in the playoffs. But they're not that far removed from a really, really good team. John People says he's going to surprise a few of you armchair quarterbacks and GMs this year. Who is he? Devontae Adams? Casey Morgan says, it is bad that I really want Chicago to draft a different quarterback other than Caleb Williams. I also want Williams to be at the draft so we can see his face when it hits him that he messed up with his draft antics. So Caleb Williams is just a person being himself, right? I mean, about these draft antics, are you referring to like not throwing and like all that stuff? And I don't know what you're referring to for the draft antics, but basically right now people have this spotlight on Caleb Williams. They're trying to just make the kid crack, and he's taking it in like stride. I think Caleb Williams is doing just fine. I think he'll do fine in Chicago. Chicago has put a really, really good team together. They kind of took the 49ers formula and built a team around a quarterback where they can plug and play a quarterback, any quarterback that they want. And if they decide to trade out of that first overall pick and drop down to 11 or 12, they still got pretty good chance of getting another good quarterback in the second round. Spencer Rattler. Tyler's in the chat. What's up, Tyler? James says, draft Jaden Daniels for the Washington Commanders and build around that man. Facts. Say it again, James. Say it with your chest. Draft Jaden Williams. Jaden Williams, not Jalen. Jaden Williams. Draft Jaden Daniels. We'll get it right. Draft Jaden Daniels and build around that man. Tyler says, Washington is a dumpster fire like all elite wrestling. Listen, I have not watched wrestling in 20 years, right? Back when Stone Cold and The Rock were the thing and Triple H and like all those guys. Was it last Friday? May have been 2 Fridays ago. Me and the boys were sitting at home Friday. Sydney's out getting a massage, just having a good old time doing some girl things. I'm like, hey, boys, let's check out this wrestling. And it was terrible. I think it was even SmackDown. It was freaking terrible. So SmackDown is what, like the second fiddle, right? So you got like Monday Night Raw and then like SmackDown like on a Friday night, and then the All Elite Wrestling must be like third or fourth string. I don't know. It's terrible. Wrestling is terrible now. I don't understand how there's podcasts out there that are like millions upon millions of viewers every day. And I was like, good Lord, I don't understand. Tyler says, I think Patrick Mahomes is going to have a good year next year. Better than last. Listen, Patrick Mahomes has kind of set a standard, right? Patrick Mahomes has set a standard where if he's not throwing for 4,000 yards, getting 20, 30 touchdowns, leading his team to the AFC championship, he is, quote, having a down year. So when I look at Patrick Mahomes last season, what he threw for, he threw for 4,100 yards last season, just under 42, 4180, like 83. And if you look at this, like look at his past seasons, 5,000 yards in 2022, almost 5,000 in 21, almost 5,000 in 2020, 4,000 in 19. That's the game he missed 3 games because of the dislocated knee. And then 2018, he threw for 5,000 yards. Patrick Mahomes has set a standard for himself, which is good and bad all at the same time. But basically, if Patrick Mahomes does not throw for 4,500 yards plus, people will be like, oh, he's having a down year. What's wrong with Patrick Mahomes? Oh, it's receiver's fault. Maybe he's hit the wall. Maybe he's done this, and this. The simple fact of the matter is Patrick Mahomes is a really, really good quarterback. He can even, quote, have a down year and only throw for 4,000 yards this season. Still going to be more than 90% of the quarterbacks in the league. So, Tyler, I think you're right. I think Patrick Mahomes does have a better year next year, right? This year was definitely growing pains for him early in the year, not having that number one guy. And yeah, it is what it is. Casey says he only sent his medical records to the Chicago Bears. See, I have not been following Caleb Williams' process in the draft very closely. I've been more worried about like teams like 10 through like 20, just because like I think that is where the draft is really going to like start. I think the first 5 are pretty much locked in. So I've been kind of really focusing on 10 through 20 there. So I'm going to have to dig into that. I'm kind of curious. WWE hasn't been the same since the Attitude Era. Well, that's facts. That was probably the best era ever. James says the PG area wrestling sucks. Yeah. I don't know what the fascination is with like wrestling, to be honest. Now, as a kid, like I thought it was cool when these larger than life people were like flying through the air. You know, they're like, oh, 7'3", 400 pounds. Like, oh, there's no way. But then they walked and they just looked ginormous. Like, oh wow, right. I saw a couple lives like on Monday Night Raw. I think it was with the who's the guys that wore the shoulder pads with the spikes? But that's the Road Warriors. Went and saw them, you know, and whatnot back when I was like a little kid. But I don't understand the storyline. I don't know. I mean, obviously, wrestling has been around longer than any of us, right? And it's been the pinnacle of sports entertainment for a very, very long time. So clearly they're doing something right. It just does not appeal to me. Just like the UFC does not appeal to my wife because of the violence. But I love me watching some UFC. I love me some NFL. But it's not going to appeal to Billy Bob down the street. He's a baseball guy. It is what it is. But guys, happy Friday. Tomorrow's 4/20. So all you people that partake in 420, be safe out there. ELE, love everybody. Everybody loves everybody. Speaking of pigskin pundits, my name, Jim, is in the POW. It's in the chat. It says, Mahomes does not have to compete with time. Reed won't be there with ever. Eric Bieniemy's coming back. See you guys tomorrow. Actually, see you guys Monday. Drought week. We out.